Ever since she was a little girl, Maddie has always been an overachieving go-getter. She started at a young age helping mom and dad with her 5 younger brothers and moved on to the garden and farm chores where her love for agriculture began. It didn't matter if she was working with a stubborn 4-H heifer who refused to be halter broken, tending to a newborn calf, picking sweet corn at 6 a.m. in the driving rain, doing her homework, or shooting free throws in the driveway. Maddie would give it everything she had and then some more. Always willing to help one of her brothers with calf chores, writing a paper or figuring out some algebra problem, that's Maddie. Full speed ahead. See what happens if we give it our all and worry about the consequences later. Serving as a state officer has been a natural fit for Maddie. With all the demands on her time and requirements as a multitasker, it all tied in nicely with her devotion to agriculture and excellence in everything she does. Not only does Maddie willingly take on new challenges and seek knowledge as she goes, she always does it with a smile on her face and a servant's faith-filled heart. She lights up a room as she enters and leaves us all better for knowing her. Please help me in welcoming Maddie to the stage.
On behalf of the Sand Lake FFA chapter, it is my privilege to introduce Lauren Heberling for her retiring address. They say that a journey begins with a single step. From the very first day she entered the biotechnology classroom at the Sand Lake Career Center, Lauren put that first foot forward and began the journey that brings her here today. Along the path, she has shown that she is just a typical teenager, doing school, hanging with friends, and all the other things that you guys do. Lauren loves agriculture. She thinks about it, talks about it, and engages in it almost every single day. And it's this passion for agriculture that motivates her to engage in all the opportunities that agri-science education and the FFA organization had to offer. As the journey brought her closer to the opportunity to run for a state officer position, I challenged Lauren with a question. Why do you want to be a state officer? Many times the answer to this question starts with the word I or the phrase, I want to. And most of the answers that start in that way aren't the best answers. But I think Lauren got it right. After some thought, she came up with this. Being a state officer is a privilege. They, the members, deserve leaders with a service-minded attitude, ones who bring a kind word of encouragement and support and a high five for a job well done. Officers who will light a fire in members through their positive energy and enthusiasm for agriculture and the FFA. If you've been fortunate enough to have met Lauren this year, you know that she brings all of those traits to life through her humor and her desire to have fun in everything that she does. Michigan FFA, please welcome to the stage your state reporter for her retiring address, along with Maddie Meyer, called The Big Littles.
But the struggles make you stronger, and the changes make you wise, and happiness has its own way of taking its sweet.
Everybody sitting in this auditorium, please close your eyes. Think about your biggest accomplishment, what you are most proud of. All right, you can open your eyes. This accomplishment, it can be big or small, in or outside of the FFA. Whatever it is, think about it in all of the happiness and sense of accomplishment that comes with it. Lastly, think about how much you had to struggle before you finally reached this success.
This accomplishment, did it just happen overnight? Has the road to your success always been smooth? My guess is that answer is no. How many times during our journey has something happened that has made us mad, scared, or downright uncomfortable?
We live in a world so focused on the trophy, the placing, the medal. That's what we think determines how successful we are. Now, maybe we can blame this on the participation trophies that we all received when we were little, but it is the same issue.
If we don't have a trophy, a placing, or something to show for our accomplishment, we feel as if we have failed. Sure, the moment of pride and accomplishment is always great, but what about the little struggles that happen every day that get us to where we are now?
Lauren and I both really love our dairy cattle, and we really enjoy dairy judging. This past October, we both had the opportunity to compete on a 4-H dairy judging team at the World Dairy Expo in Madison, Wisconsin. This is the host of the premier dairy cattle show in the country, with the toughest levels of competition and the highest quality of cattle. Each year, the top 3 judging teams in each division win a trip to Europe to judge at the international level. Our team was confident that we could achieve this, but then we get to the banquet the next night. We had received 4th place. We missed that trip to Europe by 1 place. 1. Never had I been so upset or disappointed in myself.
If you would have told me 4 years ago I'd be standing on this stage, I would have thought you were crazy. 4 years ago, you would have found me working on the family dairy farm and going to school. And honestly, that's what I thought I'd be doing for my entire life. Well, minus the school part. My junior year of high school, I started to get busy with school, FFA, and life in general. For a while, my dad kept harping on me to keep up with my jobs on the farm, take better care of the calves. He told me I just wasn't working hard enough. You see, one week I'd work really hard. The next week I'd be back to oversleeping, staying out too late, or just not doing a job. One day, my dad got so mad at me, he looked at me and said, "You're getting a job off the farm."
I started to cry my eyes out right there in front of everyone. I'd never been so embarrassed or miserable as I was in that moment, because even though nobody said it to my face, I knew that I hadn't pushed myself or my teammates hard enough. While this is one of the biggest disappointments that I have faced yet, there have been plenty of other times when I failed at something that was important to me. During a basketball practice last winter, I was going through some rebounding drills when my coach said to me, "Maddie, if I could get a sheet of paper between your feet and the floor when you jump, it'd be a near miracle." He wasn't kidding either. And those words hit home because I knew that I could do better. I just wasn't digging deep enough. Our team prided ourselves on the 3 consecutive district championships we had won, and we were going for the 4th one this year. We didn't get that championship. In fact, we lost in the first round of the tournament. What if I would have taken my coach's constructive criticism better? Maybe we would have won those games.
A job off the farm, like fast food or something? It's safe to say I was embarrassed, devastated, scared, and angry. Going from a job on the family farm to a job at the local Dairy Queen, I felt like I just wasn't good enough. But you see, I had that job working at Dairy Queen for a year and a half. And looking back, it was one of the greatest blessings in my entire life. You see, there was a lot of times that I'd mess up, get yelled at. But I used that criticism and used it to push me to work harder. There were a lot of times working between 20 and 30 hours a week. Going to school and being an FFA was tough, but I learned time management. I gained financial independence in some ways, was taught a better understanding of how the real world works, and was taught about how to get along with people that weren't necessarily my favorite. My absolute best memory from high school was the nights that me and the DQ crew would hop in my truck, drive around for hours with the radio cranked all the way up, laughing the whole time. The best thing my first real job gave me was the friends I made.
The same story goes for my performance in the prepared public speaking contest. Even though a few weeks before the contest, a good friend of mine said to me, "You're slacking, Maddie. You should have your script memorized by now." I didn't listen, so I wasn't well enough prepared when it came to state convention, and I didn't win. Hearing that we need to do a better job is hard to accept, especially when we think that we're doing the best that we can. We all lead busy lives, and we've probably overcommitted ourselves to too many activities. So now we're stressed out and feel as if we're being pulled in 10 different directions.
Hearing my dad tell me I wasn't working hard enough was tough. Throughout high school, FFA presented me with a lot of the same struggles. After my first FFA meeting as president, my advisor looked at me and said, "You weren't prepared enough." And that was hard to hear. 1 week before National Convention, my CDE coach looked at me and said, "You're behind. You should have your script memorized." And that's when I realized I was the weak link on the team. Even when nobody said anything to me at all, I knew when I wasn't pushing myself hard enough. My last day at DQ, being elected the Michigan FFA state reporter, and my team receiving 4th place at National Convention, those moments were amazing, but that wasn't when the growth happened. Working when I was behind on homework, having my advisor tell me what I didn't want to hear, and having my CDE coach confirm what I already knew about myself. Those were the failures that led to the success, the struggles that lead to our biggest accomplishments. Those moments are the little bigs.
Having someone say, "You can do a better job," is rough, but it serves as a wake-up call and teaches us that we need to reevaluate our priorities. Sure, the past successes that I had in dairy judging, on the basketball court, and in prepared public speaking meant a lot to me. But those moments where I failed taught me a far more important lesson than those dusty old trophies ever could. Those moments where we feel like we've been knocked down, when we're mad at ourselves, and when we feel like we can't dig any deeper, those are the most crucial moments of all. They are the moments that define us, and they are the little bigs.
Being confronted with reality and not liking it. Taking criticism and using it to push yourself. Those moments where everything's going absolutely awful, and you have to look yourself in the mirror and ask, "Why am I doing this?" Those moments are the little bigs.
Embracing failure. Listening to that little voice in our heads telling us to try harder so that we can thank ourselves later. Challenging ourselves to do the job right the first time. Not meeting the expectations set for ourselves and using it to improve so that next year we do. These are the little bigs.
Be prepared for the little bigs. Andrew Carnegie once said, "Anything in life worth having is worth working for." Nothing in life will come easy, but the struggles and hard work will make you stronger. Appreciate the little bigs. Stop, appreciate, and engage in the conversations with advisors, teachers, and friends. The knowledge and wisdom you gain is irreplaceable. Take advantage of the little bigs. So you didn't get that officer position or win that slate you were hoping for. But there's a reason. Rethink why you chose to serve, and in your next interview, your passion for service will shine through.
Embrace the little bigs. Instead of seeing coming in last at a public speaking contest as a failure, use it as a learning moment and try harder next year. Celebrate the little bigs. Those harsh words from a coach or advisor. Use them to fuel your fire. Learn to love the little bigs. Every moment that something doesn't go the way we had hoped is a moment that we can work towards so that the next time it does. Sometimes we become so wrapped up in the trophy and the gratification. Remember, That moment in the spotlight is only a small portion of your journey to get there. We have to make the most of every piece of feedback, every bit of advice, and every experience that we can, because there is always a lesson to be learned.
Someday, these small things won't seem so small at all. If we learn to embrace the little bigs in life, we will always succeed, even when it seems as if we have failed. Michigan FFA,
Embrace the little bigs.
It's somewhere in the race we run. We're coming undone when days go by. I can feel it flying like a hand out the window in the wind. The cars go by. Yeah, it's all we've been given, so you better start living right now, 'cause days go by.
Maddie, whether it's teaching us dairy facts, keeping us on track during meetings, or showing us the latest dance moves, it is impossible to say which side of you has had the greatest impact on our team, because they've all made a difference. It doesn't matter if it's jamming out to every song on the radio or giving an inspirational green hand speech. You can truly do it all. It's been an honor to see your impact on every member in the state, and we can't wait to see what you do next. Michigan FFA, our Region 5 State Vice President, Madeline Meyer.
Lauren, we have so many stories about you or caused by you by now. You're one of the funniest and sweetest people I know. You can rap like no other, and sometimes I don't know if you're going to drop your own album or become the country wife baking cookies and making jams. And you are the heart of this team that helps hold us together. Whether making long car rides eventful, late night pizza runs, or practicing your marketing, I know whatever you're going to go on to do, you will do wholeheartedly. Michigan FFA, our state reporter, Lauren Heberling.
Out on the roof, just the other night, I watched the world flash by. Headlights tail